they were previously jailers. It's like when
Well, they
your
were also
stories of,
previously super bad. Like all of them
right.
were so evil.
It's like when people reform in prison.
Yep.
It's like that. They cast away everything of their former life.
Yes.
Even their name.
Yeah.
So that's why she's just called Indigo One. And then I think the other person we were introduced to, he just goes by Monk.
Yep.
And I don't think there's
another religious reference there, Jeff Johns.
More religion.
But yeah, and it's about reform and changing who you are in the past and kind of a second life.
Yeah.
And beautiful, really. They don't typically their whole motto is not in a recognized language.
They speak in a foreign language.
Knock, lock, talk, nick, and all
Torek,
this stuff.
And it can't be translated by the Green Lantern ring. When they first showed up and they started talking,
like, what is this?
It was like ring translated, like unable to translate. He's like, you have every language in the known universe in your databanks. Like what?
And so it's almost like they threw away their language also.
Yes, very true.
And they just created this new language so they could communicate with each other.
Yeah.
But I know it's probably your absolute favorite, second favorite maybe, of all of the Lantern Corps.
I'm tied between Indigo and Violet.
Yeah. And I know it's probably a hard second for me. Behind
I know what your number one is.
The last person we're going to talk about. But it's probably a hard second. Maybe tied for second with the green, just because you tell me that I'm a green all the time.
You are. You're such a green.
Jack,
and
yes.
I know, I think I'm more of an Indigo.
You are.
Not that I've done bad things.
You just want to wear loincloths and carry around a staff.
I mean, who wouldn't? No, but it's just the ability to feel compassion. I do feel, I'm very empathic, a lot of empathy. So I think that I'm more of that spectrum of Indigo.
So we have covered Willpower the green, we've covered Fear the yellow, we've covered Rage the red, we've covered Blue the hope, and we've covered Indigo the compassion. And next we're going to cover Violet.
The Violet Lanterns.
Star Sapphire.
Also known as the Star Sapphires, which is love. They are the warriors.
This is where I let you go, because this
is
your baby, and I'm going to let you do it.
Okay, so the Violet Lantern, the Star Sapphire was first introduced in the Green Lantern comics, where it was Carol Ferris, and the Star Sapphire gem overwhelmed her. It's kind of like the thing with the Red Lanterns, because they're both on the very end of the spectrum, so those emotions are the ones that will really change you, really
going back to what
you
you said before about the fact that the end of both ends of the spectrum can get out of control.
The farther you are towards the end is the more that this emotion will, I guess, in a way, consume you. And that was the problem with the Star Sapphire, because when Carol Ferris had the Star Sapphire gem, her love drove her crazy and turned her into a villain. And the alien race that has found these Star Sapphire gems, they saw what it did, and so they changed everything to make it more of a Lantern Corps and started handing out rings. But the difference that the Star Sapphire rings do with all the other Lantern rings, it's
you don't get a choice.
Right, it goes on your finger and you're like, ta-da, you're a part of this Corps. But with love, you have to give your consent to be a part of it.
Which means that you have to accept love.
You have to accept the love. And I've seen two different times. You have the capacity of great love in your heart, or you have lost great love.
Okay.
Because there was a story that I think was told in one of the books I gave you, where a woman was on vacation with her husband, and then there was like some kind of Sinestro thing, and the ship broke apart, and her husband died, and then she's like low on oxygen. She's about to join him. And then the Star Sapphire ring comes to her and says, you have lost a great love in your life. Will you accept the love we can give you and fight with us as warriors of love? And she says yes, and then she becomes a Star Sapphire. But an interesting thing about the Star Sapphires is that their main power battery on their planet, what fuels their rings,
this is beautiful, man.
Which Jeff Johns tied together in The Brightest Day, which followed the Blackest Night storyline, what is inside of the Violet Lantern power battery is the crystallized skeletons of Katar and Shiara.
Who are?
Hawkman and Hawkwoman, or Hawkgirl. Embracing each other, and they're crystallized. And
the truest love story that DC has ever told.
Right. They find each other, they love each other, and then they every life, and they're come back and do it all over again. So the original
It's fucking brilliant, man.
bodies are crystallized and in this power battery, and they fuel the entire Lantern Corps of Violet, and it's so cool. But they do something similar like what Indigo does, is where they will take female members. It's all females.
It's all females.
They take the female members of the Sinestro Corps and they encase them in giant crystals, and basically the love will change them so that they're not spreading fear, they're spreading love.
And so they kidnap female members of the Sinestro Corps, crystallize them, and force them to feel love instead of instill fear.
They re-educate them in a way so that they're not spreading fear.
How very fascist of you, Carol Ferris.
Well, it's not necessarily Carol Ferris's decision. It's the alien race. I can't remember what they're called.
Oh yeah, the tall blue ones instead.
They look like the cloners from
they do.
Attack of the Clones in Star Wars. They
Flat
look like
face,
them,
but they're blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really tall, like sinewy limbs. Yeah, they look like that, and it's their decision, and yeah, it's really wild, but I like it. It's one of my favorites. And,
I know it is.
And they're
and she dresses so slutty.
Yeah, a little bit.
She does.
And they're but it's weird because they're like every corps has an entity, and theirs is called the Predator. And it's like this weird, it almost looks like a violet colored monster.
Yeah, it's like it almost looks like the dog thing on Avatar, but in like construct form.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And it's called the Predator. And it's such a weird, because it still plays off that, how love can be, how dangerous love can really be.
Yeah, absolutely. Next, and not least, because we're going to cover White and Black at the very end, as kind of counter pieces, and then we're going to do a couple book recommendations, but very quickly, Orange. Agent Orange. Or as my gamer tag on Xbox says, I am Larfleeze. My personal favorite, just because of the tragedy of this character. Orange is the color of avarice or greed. And through his oath, what's mine is mine is mine is mine, not yours. It's an abbreviated form of it. You can tell that Larfleeze is a very... How do you put that? He's
coveted?
a very... Yeah.
Covetous?
He wants everything.
Yep.
He sees it. He wants it. So Larfleeze's origin story is tragic in a way. He is a pirate, and he is with several people that are of his species. And they come across this planet. They find this treasure. It's an orange lantern and everything that's in this cave. The Guardians of the Universe show up and say, that's fine. You can keep it, but there can only be one of you. And so Larfleeze is forced to fight his brother, basically, and kill him so that he can become the only Orange Lantern. He's alone. He's the only one. But not only is he greedy, he embodies the power of Orange. What his power is his constructs are his fallen, the people that he's killed. And it's... I don't know. It's a tragic story, and he is a supervillain in this world. In a way, he's also kind of a joke, but he's extremely powerful.
It depends on who's writing him.
Yeah.
There isn't an Orange Lantern Corps, but his core
is his constructs.
Are because he kills them, he consumes them, or replicates them, and then he has an entire army of people that he has killed.
And an example of that is when Hal Jordan is kind of blue and green at the same time. He ends up on Larfleeze's planet. The blue ring goes away from him because, he goes, I hope that I wish that this ring would just get off of me. And the Blue Lantern's ring is like, okay, we're gone, bye. And Larfleeze says, I want one. And the Guardians of the Universe are like, no, but we'll tell you where you can get one. And to show you the kind of the dastardy bastard shit that the Guardians of the Universe do.
Does. And then
they tell him where Hope or Saint Walker is.
Yeah, and so then he leads
an
full frontal assault on the Blue Lanterns.
But greed. And if you want to read anything about that, the Christmas special I hear is really good.
It's fun.
And then, of
and
course,
then
Agent Orange.
Green Lantern, Agent Orange is the book about Larfleeze.
Which is absolutely fucking brilliant.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we'll tell you all that stuff. But yeah, also if you're on Xbox One, look me up. I am Larfleeze. Anyway, probably the only one ever. Moving on, let's talk about Black real quick.
The Black Lantern Corps is basically their entity is named as Necron, and he kind of manipulates
Death.
And it all starts with William Hand, who is the supervillain with the moniker of Black Hand,
Which is another tragic character, but also kind of a nasty.
Like, he kills his family
and then kills himself so that he can become Black Hand. He
can become Necron's envoy.
Yeah.
And at the center of the Black Lantern power battery is the Anti-Monitor.
Well, a part of the Anti-Monitor.
Anti-Monitor.
But this is after the Anti-Monitor is kind of thrown from
With
Earth.
the Infinity Crisis.
He's thrown from Earth, and this is where
he landed.
Well, this is also where Scar, the Guardian of the Universe Scar, who was touched by the Anti-Monitor, goes.
Yeah.
Because he's looking for the body of the Anti-Monitor.
So that they could just spark the events of Blackest Night,
which is the big thing that everyone keeps on talking. Albin Sur was Blackest Night.
It was a prophecy in the Green Lanterns that the Blackest Night will fall or something like that.
So basically, this happens. They resurrect the dead bodies of all the fallen heroes.
Black Lantern rings go not just heroes, but like anyone who has ever died.
And they're zombies.
And it's like a zombie apocalypse type situation. But through the combined powers of the Lantern Corps, they create the White Entity.
Right.
And then combines with Hal Jordan, who becomes the White Lantern, and then all the other resurrected heroes become White Lanterns, and then
who's the first person to
wield one was Sinestro.
Thank you.
He grabbed it because he's like, I'm the only one who can wield this power, and
then he gets cut in half.
Yep.
And then he comes right back to life.
Because power of life.
Power of life, man. So Black is death, White is life. Right now, currently, there are no White Lanterns. There are no Black Lanterns, to my knowledge.
Thank God.
Yeah, but I would love to see another, maybe in 5 years, another Blackest Night type situation. But,
yeah, something like that.
Let's not rehash Secret Wars every 3 months.
You couldn't resist.
I couldn't. And Kyle Rayner was a White Lantern going into Rebirth, and since then his ring has been destroyed.
So that'll be a fun storyline to.
And so we have no White Lantern, we have no Black Lantern right now, but we have everything else. Literally everything else.
But if you want to read stuff about this, pick up Blackest Night, pick up Green Lantern Agent Orange, pick up Rage of the Red Lanterns,
pick up the
Sins
Reborn.
of the Reborn, Sins of the Star Sapphire is a book.
Blackest Night is huge. I mean,
Brightest Day.
Blackest Day.
Brightest Day is a follow-up to the events of Blackest Night, where everyone has been resurrected, or there was 12 heroes and villains who were resurrected, and they all have a role to play in this Brightest Day.
Yes. And part of the thing about Blackest Night is that they start recruiting hard. The Corps start recruiting like super freaking hard to expand their power.
Because they have to fight.
Right. And so some of the coolest shit that happens in Blackest Night is like Flash becomes a Blue Lantern.
Well,
Atom becomes an Indigo tribe.
Because Ganthet, he takes the rings of all the Lantern leaders, takes their ring, duplicates it, and then whoever is on Earth at that time, it found them.
Yeah.
So Flash got a blue ring. Wonder Woman was a violet
Star Sapphire.
Lantern. Lex Luthor had
yellow. Orange.
He had orange because he wanted everything.
Yep. And then him and Larfleeze got into a fight, which was awesome.
Scarecrow got yellow.
And
Mara got red.
Yep.
And Ganthet gave himself the green ring.
Yeah. He's like, I will wield this.
And Atom got
Indigo
Compassion.
But so that's it. I mean, if you have any questions, feel free to email us, thecomicboot@gmail.com. Be sure to leave us a rating on iTunes. Thank you for joining us. I do want to send you guys over to
Streamer's Guide to the Galaxy.
Basically,
if you want to watch a show and you're not completely sold on it, listen to these guys. They have great talking points. They will let you know if there are spoilers, so the whole thing won't be ruined. But if you're curious about something, check it out.
Go check it out. Yeah, it's actually a really good podcast. That's how I dodged watching 13 Reasons. I just listened to Lauren break it down for me. Anyway, signing out, I'm James.
I'm Kalen.
And we will see you guys next week, where we have no idea what we're going to do.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Talk to you guys later.